Today is day 35, and I'm going to talk about a topic I'm calling "Be the Do." So I was sitting on the couch watching HGTV show with my wife. I think it was about a couple buying an island in the Pacific somewhere. Anyway, I fell asleep, and then I woke up suddenly, and on the screen was a commercial, and the commercial showed a young man drinking a can of Mountain Dew, and the advertisement said something to the effect of "Be the Do," or something like "Do the Do," or I don't know what it was, but something like that. So, but at that moment, there was a thought I was having that day, and it coalesced around this idea that, most of my life I've been taught or have been trying to not do or stop doing bad things, like don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't eat sugar, don't drink caffeine, don't eat GMOs, don't eat corn syrup, whatever it is, right? So you just constantly getting bombarded with these things that you should not do or don't do. And every one of these things have proclamations of great health benefit. But there's a dilemma that happens here. So let's say you were to follow all the advice out there, and you were to stop drinking and smoking and chewing tobacco and all these other bad things. Let's say you removed all that from your life, and now you're sitting here after have done all this advice and gotten rid of everything. Would that make you suddenly become the awesome person you want to become? Well, the answer is no. You would still be you. You would still be in the condition you're in, just minus all of these destructive and maybe negative things that you decided to get rid of. Now, I'm not saying quitting smoking is a bad thing. I think quitting smoking is a good thing. But it's not alcohol and smoking and all of that are preventing you from becoming what you want to be. It's the fact that you're just not doing it. Now, it is certainly true that if you're going to get on the path of doing something awesome, being addicted to substances or having destructive substances or anything else in your life is like carrying a gigantic bag of rocks with you. So it's a whole lot easier to be on the path to success without carrying a gigantic bag of rocks with you. So yeah, you should drop the rocks, but dropping the rocks or getting rid of the things you should not do is not enough. You have to still get on the path no matter what you do. So that's an interesting concept, right? Because I think a lot of people spend a large majority of their life focused on what they should not do. And they zone their mind in on it. Like for example, I've spent a large chunk of my life worried about not eating bad things. Like, don't eat the ice cream. Don't eat the cake. Don't eat this bad thing. My mind is focused on it. So funny enough, I'm so focused on it, I end up eating it anyway. So there's something wrong with this idea of focusing only on the commission thing, right? The things that I can deliberately commit that are bad, I should, obviously there are some things like being an alcoholic is never good. Being a drug addict is never good. But instead of focusing constantly on what we should not be doing, maybe we should think about what we're not doing that we're not doing that we should be doing. So it's like a reverse thinking. So that's what I mean by this "be the do" concept. Instead of filling our minds with all the stuff we shouldn't be doing to try to abstain from or remove from our lives, like I am not going to eat sugar anymore, or I'm not going to eat gluten anymore, or I'm not going to eat this or that anymore, or I'm not going to do that, whatever it is. Maybe we should fill our lives with what we're going to do, right? So, for example, it'd be really a good idea for me to eat, fruits and vegetables in the day. Everybody says that. All health people say that. So rather than focusing on all the bad things I shouldn't eat, maybe I should start to build a habit where I fill my life with things that I should eat. I imagine that over time, as you accumulate good habits, well, actually, I know this is true, but I've done it. So after you accumulate these good habits and you add all these little things that you can do well, like let's say, you have a habit where every snack time at 10 a.m., you have to go eat a small plate of vegetables, like with some like ranch or something. And yeah, sure, but don't focus on the fact that you can't have a cookie. I mean, who cares? Maybe you eat a cookie. But the point is that you start to fill your life with the good things. Eventually, if you keep filling your life with the good things, you will have no more time or room for the bad things. So that's the interesting thing. But that's just a silly example about diet, but probably helpful. What I'm really talking about is what happens when you do all the basics in life. You do everything you were supposed to do. I graduated from college. I got married. I started having kids. I got a good job. So I did all those things. Now what? Right? What do I do now? I've done all the obvious things. I've removed all the obvious bad things. Now what? Well, I think what it is you have to identify the mountain you want to climb. What do I want to become? What is the great pinnacle that I'm trying to reach? No matter how scary and intimidating that mountain is, where am I trying to go? Once I think we've identified that, then we can start to understand what the people that are on that mountain are currently doing, or people that have successfully climbed the mountain, what did they do? Once I kind of have a list of things that people have done, I just need to pick one. Pick the most obvious one. Just go with it and start doing it. And then slowly over time, you can build one good activity on top of another good activity until eventually, one day you'll be on that mountain. You may not be to the top, but that mountain will look a whole lot less intimidating. And you'll be standing on a mountain of good behavior that you've built over a course of a lifetime. So I think this idea of doing good rather than focusing entirely on avoiding the bad is just a principle that we all have to eventually adopt, because eventually you're going to run out of bad things you can avoid. Eventually there'll be nothing bad left to avoid. You'll have only good to do. And anyway, that's the idea. Thank you.